Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Wavelength Wednesday. I am your host, Waveney, and every week I bring you tips and strategies geared towards connecting, inspiring, and influencing you to being the best in your job, career, and overall life. And welcome back. I hope and trust that everyone has been keeping safe, has been washing their hands, has been adhering to whatever policy or regulations in the country that you're viewing so that you can all keep safe, we can all keep safe and get out of this, rather this situation rather quickly. So welcome again. Um, so before I jump into it, if you haven't had a chance to view last week's video, I really and strongly suggest that you go and have a look at it. I think I really enjoyed filming it. I really enjoyed sharing. And initially, April was supposed to be a month that I'm focusing on leadership, on management, bringing tips for leaders. So, but with all that's going on, I really felt led and I really felt that, we all can, it's bringing you tips on how to thrive during this pandemic would serve you so much better. And so last week I spoke about how to thrive during this time. And this week I want to speak about how to thrive during this pandemic, but also, give me a second, how to thrive. But I want to speak specifically to the future of work. All right. And coming out of this pandemic, we know work will change. The only constant in this life is change. The only thing that is predictable is change. And for many of us, all of us, we're going through this new normal. Our lives have been affected in some way or the other, and especially in regards to employment. Unless you are an essential worker, and even with essential workers, some hours may have been reduced, and some are still going to work. Thank God for that, you know. But the future of work is here, and the future of work is now, and I feel like we're sitting on the cusp of a big change. And so I thought that it would be fitting to speak about that today and how to get ourselves ready. So I'll just share with you my thoughts around this. I'm not a prophetess. I'm not one of those persons. I can't remember what is the correct term, but the predictor, like an economist or something like that, who really study the economy and stuff like that and bring all these facts and data. This is just me in my experience and living through these times, and from an HR standpoint, this is what I feel will happen and how it will change. And so here are some of my thoughts around it. So the changes that are happening right now, many persons are working from home, are working remotely. Many persons have to get on video conferences, so virtual meetings are the in thing right now. There's a lot of online shopping going on in regards to, supermarkets and restaurants that have takeout services. Those are happening. Online farms, there's a surge in online farms that, at least in my country, whereas you could, walk into the business place, complete a form, what have you. Now there's a lot of stuff going online. In many countries, this has been the case, so this isn't really anything new, right? But for us in the Caribbean, at least in my federation, this hasn't been the case. So the other thing that's going on, lots of people are laid off, lots of people are furloughed, which is a mandatory layoff, but they're gonna, you know, it's a different term from layoff. A layoff is used to describe if you're dismissed. Furlough is just temporary, you go back to work. Anyway, there's I know you some of you maybe debate this, but the furlough is an American term, just FYI. So these are things that are happening. Now, what I foresee happening after this pandemic is over is I foresee that employees, employers will, and even now, I'm sure they're doing it, employers are going to take a hard look at their staffing levels. They're gonna take a look at if they have 10 full-time employees, can 4 of these persons be part-time? Um, Persons will look at, okay, I have 10, do I really need, I have 5 employees, do I really need all 5? Can I do with 3 to run my business? I feel that employers are going to look at ways to become more lean and agile, quicker, faster, stronger, better, right? Um, so they're going to look at that. The work from home, I think we're going to see a lot more remote work, because now employees can see, hey, this can be done remotely, right? This can be done remotely, and I feel like this is going to happen more. Virtual meetings, I feel like people will know, and even now people will see the need to do more video conferencing, more, of those virtual meetings, that we all don't need to come together. We all don't need to do a conference type thing. And video conferencing has been on the rise for a while. Um, and it's a really great way for companies to cut costs, because there's so much that you can communicate and so much that you can do, whereas before persons would have to fly into countries and cities, and all this travel going on. But with the introduction of video conferencing, that has all changed. Now Zoom, which is a popular video conferencing app, they have seen between February 22nd and March 22nd, they have seen an increase in downloads, which are 1,270%. That's how much their downloads went up by, right? So this is on the move. I think we're going to see a surge as well in online businesses. That's going to happen. I feel like right now creatives are going to capitalize on the opportunity. They're going to see opportunity in this, because as bad as this pandemic is, there's always an opportunity in every bad situation. And I really believe that. That is why my messaging last week was such, because yes, we're going through a pandemic, but it doesn't mean we have to take it lying down. We have to abide by the rules of the day, the norms of the day, the social distancing and all that. But it doesn't mean that we have to stay home even more. But that doesn't mean that we can't thrive. And this is really my message to you, right? That allow yourself to vent, because this is different. This is change takes adjustment. So adjust, vent if you have to, because we all don't agree with policies that are going on at the time. But if we focus on that, then I feel, miss out on the opportunity to do something great, or to enhance our lives, or to change something, right? And so I would encourage you to look at this time at this period of our lives in this way. So we're going to see a surge in online businesses. Businesses also will look at their crisis management processes. If they didn't have one before, they're going to implement one. I mean, a smart business, I think, and feel should. So in the event that there's another one, they can there's a plan, there's my go-to. And businesses that already have those plans established, it's an opportunity for them to tweak them, to adjust, because there's some businesses that did not handle this well, especially in terms of how they dealt with employees, in the way they communicated. There's always coming out of this person's businesses are going to look at what could I have done better. So then we get to the question, what about us, right? How do we adjust? How do we thrive during this time? How do we prepare for this, right? How do we prepare for the new normal? Because I can tell you that it's not going to be business as usual. Things will change, and I want to believe they will change for the better. But as humans, we don't like change. It's something we don't like change. We like to be comfortable. Once we get into a routine, we like it. And you could speak to the most spontaneous, adventurous person. There is always something that's routine that if it's disrupted, there's a little bit of a, okay, right, uncomfortableness. But it's how we adjust and manage through that. So getting ready. So I feel like now is a great time to start thinking about creating the business that you've always wanted. A few friends of mine have said to me, Waveney, I'm thinking about, is this an opportunity for me now to leave the job that I have? Um, I've had this idea for a very long time, and so I'm thinking about doing this. I don't know if after this is over, if I am going to, go back to my job, right? Um, Others do have businesses already, like they do have side businesses already, and so they're thinking about going full-fledged into it. So now's a good time to start thinking about the business that you've always wanted to create. And I feel now is a good time because you have time to think, you have time to plan, you have time to do your market research, you have time to strategize, and so really think about that. And it's a great time as well because many persons have been dependent on one source of income. And whether it is that you leave your primary job, or whether it is you decide that, hey, I'm going to launch a business that supplements my income, it's all fine. These are the thoughts that I think that people really need to start thinking about, instead of just thinking about panic and fear and, arguing with people on Facebook. I see this a lot, arguing with people on Facebook that they don't agree with. This is a good time to start thinking about yourself, being selfish and thinking about yourself. So this is a great time for that. For existing businesses and entrepreneurs, small businesses, is this a time now maybe that you can pivot, right? Is this a time now that you can do or create an additional service or a product? For example, now, because we have this curfew going on, there is a promoter that put together, I think it's Cane Juice that put together, and if you reside on St. Kitts and Nevis, you will know who I'm speaking about, Cane Juice, and they put together this online fete, which I think was absolutely amazing and absolutely phenomenal, because it was a great way to distract people from the negativity, the fear, the panic. Music always soothes, right? When we're down, for many of us, we just want a good song, we just want to play our music. And they did that for a few hours, and they've done it, I think it's about three times now. Um, and there's going to be a fourth one, I think, on Saturday. That's what they said. So that's a great way to pivot. So I wouldn't be surprised if after coming out of this, we see online fetes happening. But this time it may be at a cost, right? So that may happen as well. The other business I saw that pivoted if that's the word, is there's a local artist that is called Sasha, and she has done something so amazing. I think it's Painting with Sasha, it's called, and she has done a virtual paint and sip. So usually, what she does is people sign up. She hosts these classes, a paint and sip class, and you pay a fee, you go in and you paint and you sip, but now everybody's home. Nobody can move. So she has come up with a really creative way of doing that. And so these are the types of things that people need to start thinking about. We have the time. Time is something that we do have, so don't waste it. Don't waste it. So think about it. The other thing I feel that we should be focusing on as well is upskilling, right? Upskilling or leveling up our skill level. So many persons are not tech savvy. I work in hospitality, and a lot of persons, I interview a lot of people, and they are not tech savvy. Okay, they don't have, yes, they may be able to use WhatsApp, they may be able to use Facebook, and that's about it. Okay, but to apply for a job online, they have a cousin doing it, which almost always doesn't end up right. Okay, because nobody is going to take care of you like you. So this is a great time for persons to become tech savvy. And some of the things I want to mention is a lot of people, you may be looking at this and you may be saying, wait me, come on now. Who doesn't have an email address? Well, there are people who don't have email addresses, and as simple and as frivolous, or however it may sound, there are people who don't. And so people get an email address, a simple email address. And the reason why I mentioned this is because we're going to see a surge in online businesses. We're going to see a surge in online farms, and almost all the online businesses that I have signed up for, the takeout food or whatever, whether it's an article I subscribe to or something that I'm downloading, it needs your email address. So if you don't have an email address, get an email address, okay? And this is the world that we're living in. And so we have to become fluid. We have to become flexible to move along with the changes. So get an email address, get a resume, digital copy. Lots of people still walking around with, if they do have a resume, they have a copy that they printed and they can't find the digital version. Come on now. We have time. We have time. Use your downtime wisely. Use your downtime wisely. Okay, this is not a time to let fear and panic take a hold of you. Humans are adaptable. We've been adapting to our environments for many years. This is no different. This is no different. So get your resume and get it digitally. This is a great time to also, for those of us who have, this is a great time to update it. Many of us are in jobs for 10, 12 years, and we haven't updated our resume. This is a great time to do that. Okay. The other thing too is there are lots of online platforms that are delivering training. There are skills that you always wanted. There are things that skills that you always wanted, right? And there's feedback that you would have been given from your manager or supervisor that maybe said, hey, you need to work on this. This is the perfect time to do that. And I was reading an article this morning, and it said that Harvard and MIT has lots of free online training, and there are other platforms. Udemy is also a great online platform, and the thing about it is their courses don't cost an arm and a leg. The beauty about these courses as well is that you have them for life. So once you purchase them now, you have them for life. You can always go back to them. Right now, I am doing an online training class as well, and I am so grateful that I decided to pursue it because it has been a filler for my days. It has been a really good filler, and I'm a learner. One of my strengths is learning, and so my mind is still keeping active. So please, I would encourage you to do that. Udemy has courses like 10 US, 11 US. Um, some people watching it, maybe based on your financial situation, you may not be able to afford it. So I would suggest you do the free courses, but some of us can. And so I would pick at least three or two or even one, but do something. This is my message. At least do something. And so some skills that, give me a second. Okay. Some skills that I think employers will look for coming out of this pandemic after this is all over. No, people will look for these skills either directly or indirectly, and the I feel like the higher up you go, or the I shouldn't say the higher up you go, but depending on the position, your position within your company, you're going to be asked more pointed questions, and or you're going to be asked to do more of these skills, right? So some of the skills that I think are necessary is change management. No surprise there. Are you willing to change? Can you facilitate change? And can you facilitate it quickly? Right? This is an interesting time, especially for me. Like I mentioned, I like to learn. When I see all the policy changes coming out, um, how rapidly it's coming out, and I'm talking about like when our government is rolling out the curfews, and right now we there was a change made yesterday about our shopping, the supermarket shopping schedule, and so it's interesting for me to see how it's communicated, how quickly people adjust. Right now, the whole world is a big lesson in change management, and so people pay attention. Okay, so change management will be a huge one. Crisis management, same thing. Adaptability. These are called, I think they call them soft skills because they're not technical skills, they're not hands-on. Adaptability, how quickly can you adapt? And you see this playing out. I see it a lot in HR because a lot of the changes that happens in a business are policy changes, and if you are a large business, they happen through your HR department. And so you have to roll it out. You get a lot of pushback. I get people coming into my office all the time saying, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, da, 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 da. And so now we're kind of in a situation where everybody just has to do it. It is what it is, right? So are you adaptable? Maybe this is time that you take a course in adaptability and flexibility. Look for a course on that, right? How to be more adaptable. I think I posted something too last week, Thursday, about adaptability. Communication will always be around, but it is even more essential now. Okay, it's even more essential now, especially when you communicate change. So communication as it relates to change. Are you clear? Are you succinct? Do people understand? Are you open to feedback? Like, these are things that are going to come up. And again, I'm going to say that the higher your role is within your organization, the more you will be asked to do these things or get these skills. But everybody in one way, shape, or form would be required to have these. Creativity, thinking about new ways to do things, okay? And this times like these do foster creativity. I can't do X, but what can I do? How can I do it better? So creativity, judgment is a good one. Resilience, and of course problem solving. And so these are just some thoughts that I had surrounding the future of work. I really hope that they've been helpful for you. um, what I would suggest again, and I know I'm going to say it ad nauseum, I know everybody's built differently and everybody doesn't learn at the same pace and the same way, but I would encourage you at this time to use your downtime wisely, right? Do something that is worthwhile. Rest, absolutely. Vent if you must, because this is an uncomfortable situation. Yes, but don't dwell on it. Don't go on Facebook and pick fights and arguments and comments on other people's posts because you don't agree with it. Find some time for you. Figure out what you need to do for yourself. Do you want to start that business? There are so many things online that you can learn, right? um but do something and don't waste this time. And so coming out of this, you will be better, you will be better prepared to take on anything. You will be more adaptable, you will be more flexible to the changes, whether you choose to go full-fledged in your that business that you've been thinking about, whether you launch your side business, whether you decide that you're going to just go back to work as usual. Either which way, some way, shape, or form, our work environment will change, and it's just gonna be that way for a while, for a very, very long time. It's not going to change. And so um I've come to the end of my program, and I certainly enjoyed sharing with you. I'll probably have to do an update because there are going to be more changes, and so I'll probably do an update later down this year. But stay safe, take care of yourselves and your families, and thank you for tuning in to Wavelengths. Once again, if I do coaching and I use the same applications, Google Hangouts, telephone calls, WhatsApp calls, I've done it all. Well, we can't do face to face now, but I do have platforms that I can provide coaching via. So if you'd like to be coached by me, send me an email at hellowaveney@thepeoplebrandskn.com, or send me a WhatsApp at 663-3356. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon. Bye.